Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Warri Alec for this first semi-final clash, Division 1 action in the Outer East Football League. It's been an action-packed couple of weeks of finals so far. We saw both of these teams last week with mixed success. Alexandra continued their rise through the back half of the year with a thrilling 4-point win in the elimination final, coming from 38 points down at quarter time. They were still 4 goals down at half time, had levelled things up by the final change and then snuck home in a thriller. And Pakenham, after a slow start, similar to the story with Alexandra, they were 28 points down at quarter time against Seville and lost by about that margin, 24 points in the end in the 2v3 qualifying final. So what last week meant was that we said goodbye to Belgrave for the season, and today we'll say goodbye to one of these two sides. We had a lot of conversations around the Div 1 ladder where it's been a race in 3 effectively at the top. However, Alexandra have claimed one scalp against that top 3 this year. They beat Seville in the second meeting in about round 11 or 12, or there around 11, I think it was. Nice win that day too, getting up by about 4 goals. So they would feel that at times, 5 goals it was in actual fact, they played some good footy. And last time they met Pakenham in round 12, they were beaten by 16 points in a fairly tight contest, low-scoring affair there. So second time around, they beat Seville. They lost to Pakenham by less than 3 goals and Warburton by less than 4 goals, having lost the 3 meetings in the first half of the year to those sides by 44, 44 and 45. So getting closer. And today, a chance to move into a preliminary final. Seville already in the grand final after yesterday's victory over Warburton in the second semi-final. They could hardly have looked more impressive in that, a 62-point demolition. And Warburton sitting in the preliminary final waiting for the winner of this game. So it's week 2 of the Div 1 finals. It is week 1 in the Premier Division finals. And we had a thrilling result in the clash yesterday, the 2v3 clash. You do have the top side in that division, Wandon, who have dominated the season, waiting in the second semi. But yesterday, in the 2v3 clash, it was Alinda Ferny Creek who got up over Warri Alec by 4 points. Warri Alec finishing in a flurry, kicked 5 goals in the last quarter to fall 4 points short, having been sort of between 3 and 5 goals down for much of the game. So Warri Alec into the first semi-final next weekend. Alinda Ferny Creek into the second semi to play Wandon. And Warri Alec will play the winner of this afternoon's elimination final, which we'll give you live scores of as they come to us. That clash is between Monbulk and Healesville. Healesville started the season really well, started to slip a touch, but they'd be hopeful that they can maybe hit their best form again today. That clash at Yarra Junction, as was yesterday's final for that matter. So we look at the season overall for these sides. Pakenham second on the table, 13-3, the win-loss record, as was first and third. Warburton 13-3, Seville 13-3. Percentage of 225.37. And Alexandra fourth, 3 games further back, 10-6, percentage of 120 or thereabouts. The tail of the tape, as we said, the 2 meetings between these sides. Round 3 earlier in the year, Pakenham 14-7-91 beat Alexandra at Alexandra 6-11-47, with Hall and Ryan kicking 3 goals on that occasion, and Haggard Sue. And then they met in round 12, and Pakenham at home won by 16 points in a bit of an arm wrestle, 10-5-65 to 7-7-49. Haggard with 3 on that occasion, and Stewart, who leads the league in goal kicking for Alexandra, kicked 2. He's got 60 on the season to be about 5 clear of Humphreys, who we saw kick a couple yesterday in defeat for Warburton. So it is interesting. Last week, Stewart kicked 4 of the 11 in their elimination final. They were only 1 behind at quarter time. It was 1 behind to 6 goals 3 at the first change. From that point on, they kicked 11 goals 8 to 4 goals 8. And that's the fascinating thing. Obviously, they played Belgrave in the final round of the home and away season and got beaten by 53 points in that game. And then they were nearly 7 goals down at quarter time. So Belgrave would have felt like they had their measure, but it turned very quickly after that. And Alexandra with some momentum carrying through here. So Pakenham just moving over here to the middle of the ground. Alexandra will do the same. It looks likely that we will repeat. We had the moment's silence yesterday for the 2 officers unfortunately, whose lives were taken during the week, paying respects to the general, broader police force. So they're gathering in for what will be a moment of silence here. The two fallen police officers, Vadim van der Waart, Senior Constable, and Detective Neil Thompson, as the two officers who tragically lost their lives during the week. So we'll just pause for a moment. So the moment of silence for Detective Neil Thompson and 35-year-old Senior Constable Vadim der Waart, who lost their lives during the week in Porapunka. This is the one match in Division 1 today. We'll look at the Premier match as well. Monbulk and Healesville locking horns in that extremely important elimination final, which will determine much of what does happen. Weather radar looks like there's a bit of rain in our vicinity at the moment. It doesn't look awful beyond that. Radar has some blue over the Dandenong Ranges. The rest of the range seems to be sort of coming over the Kyneton Maryborough area, so there is a chance of some rain, but it shouldn't be awful conditions for football. Possibly for broadcasting, but not for football. So to get things underway, Pakenham attacking to the left of your stream. Alexandra up to the right-hand end. Can they continue to build towards breaking into this top three and actually do so, be a part of that final three in the second last weekend of the season, or will Pakenham maintain the season status quo and make it Warburton, Seville and Pakenham to battle it out for the flag from next week onwards? Going to be a curious game. As we said, Alexandra have been closing the gap. Prendergast and Ryan, interesting contest in the middle of the ground as well. So there's a free kick here, I think, from the non-controlling umpire. So it's going to go back and be a free kick to Pakenham in the circle. Popping it up to the leading target. Kick dropped a little bit short of that and an intercept mark in any case. Little wraparound hand pass to Prendergast. Not sure that was the best option. He was forced to kick from a standing start on the outside of the right boot and turn it over. Pakenham can play on quickly. towards the top of the square. 1-on-1, punched down there by Goiter. Attempted snap out of the contest there for Pakenham by Hall, who's kicked 38 on the season. Flying left foot shot towards goal. Lands on the line and kept in play. Francombe with a long kick out. It's all Pakenham out there. Ball just keeps running on and on, though. Hasn't gone out of bounds yet. It's bounced all the way up beyond the wing. That's Watkin wearing the number 20. We were cheekily informed that the skipper might have misplaced his jumper, so wearing the 20 as opposed to the 16 today. A good year. Teddy Watkin kicked 21 goals for the season. Pakenham have it on the wing. Kick across the ground. Ryan will wait for it to bounce. Gets a little bit of a block, which buys him a few metres. Good kick out to the far side of the ground where he finds Kavanzuli. Loops the hand pass over the top. Perkins straightens onto his left. Goes to a dangerous position. Defensive mark not quite held onto there by Percy. They're under the pump at the top of the square. High contact will relieve them for the moment. Awkward looking kick, but went out all right. Finds Boots. Sam Boots. Kicks long down towards a 1-on-1. It's the deck. Hand pass out. Good speed there from Grimwade. It's onto the right boot down towards the wing position. Good contest. Strength there from Cardona as Pakenham work it down towards Stanton. Bounces away from him and over the line. Two goals on the board already for Monbulk in that elimination final against Hillsville. Only been going about 3 minutes there, same length of time as here. Monbulk in pretty good form to finish the year and would be favourites for that game, you would think. See those clouds look pretty menacing over in the distance, but hopefully not headed our way. Ground bathed in sunshine at the moment. Free kick to Alexandra in the ruck. It's going to be the big nank. Thumps it long to about 30. Pakenham had the numbers. Crunching tackle on the front and centre and locked in. Hitting that pack hard was Josh Edwards, who's kicked 23 on the season. Second highest goal kicker for his team behind Keisha, who has 42. Martini out there near the electronic scoreboard. Clock not ticking on that board at the moment. We've been travelling about 4 minutes. And then Curvis in the ruck there, opposed to Tato. Free kick back in the contest here to Pakenham. It's Clacy, the vice-captain. One of a couple of those. Snapped up to the middle of the ground. Good mark. Good strength in the contest there from Hagger. 38 goals on the year for him. Top 10 in the comp. Good kick to the leading target in green. Another of the aforementioned vice-captains. Long inside 50. Good courage. Pushing back there from Cooper. Just off the interchange bench. Pakenham towards the open goal. Just needed to sit. They squeezed the snap around the body there from Hall. Bend it just a little bit too far. Saw Hall in their home victory over Seville in the middle of the year play a very impressive game. Francombe, the left footer to bring the ball back into play. Long to the half-back flank. Helped on its way there by Charlie Boots. Good tackle there by Wright, who debuted in that game I was just talking about against Seville. Kicked the last goal of the game. They won it handsomely. Trying to paddle that on is Sam Boots. Eventually comes back in his direction. Massey puts some pressure on and it goes over the boundary line in front of Pakenham's interchange bench. They have the only score in the game so far. All of that on the local Footy Hub scoreboard. Clearance comes the way of Prendergast, bounces it towards attacking 50. They managed to keep it in front. Very quick kick there from Grimwade. Bounces maybe 25 metres from goal. Pakenham control it well under pressure on the last line of defence. Martini goes up towards the half-back flank. Awkward attempt there from Green, who was slightly off balance. Opens the door for Alexandra to rush back in again. Long left foot kick to a one-on-one at the top of the square. And the skipper takes the mark. The slightly unfamiliar number 20, as we said. Might have misplaced the jumper, but certainly knows where his hands are. Lines it up here from 20 metres out directly in front. Looking at goal 22 on the season, but most importantly, the first of the first semi-final. Point blank range, should kick the goal, and he does. One straight six, players one behind, early contender for mark of the day for game face vision. You want to have finals, women's matches, milestones filmed, junior footy, get in touch, starting at about 300 a game. So Nankervis and Tato in the ruck. Tato goes up unopposed, really. Nankervis then punches it. Once it comes back down, Ryan gets the hands for Pakenham. They work it through the middle of the ground pretty well. The umpire's paid holding the ball. Now, that's an interesting one because he's handballed that probably 15 metres. So he's obviously committed to paying that free kick. Before that hand pass, Charlie Boots just gets the hand pass out. Now they can streak towards goal here. Lucas straightens it up towards the pocket. Have they hauled that in inside the field of play? It looks like they have. Importance of that decision in the middle of the ground. And it's Stewart, league's leading goal scorer, who gets his first of this final, having kicked 4 last week. Big start by Alexandra. I said not totally convinced about that call in the middle of the ground, but 9 minutes in, and if you compare both these sides started poorly last week. Pakenham 28 points down at quarter time, Alexandra 38 points down at quarter time. So a contrasting start for Alexandra, but Pakenham just a little bit slow away. Change in the ruck here with Bourgeard going in there against Tato. Tato wins the tap again. Quick give out of there from Steiner. Pakenham win it back. Down towards centre half forward. Good strength. They take the mark in the one-on-one. Directly on defensive 50. Just creating a bit of space on our broadcast side. Prendergast has had a bit of it early. Down the line kick. Well read in defence. And Pakenham run off here. Almost unopposed. Awkward left foot kick into the middle of the ground. Didn't spin at all well. Steiner gets another possession. Bounces it to attacking 50. Flicked on there by Edwards. Well done. Getting back there, it was Lee. Hand pass a bit untidy, but they've got some support. Kamanzuli needed all of that time that he had. They just get it away, and now they might be able to release. Stanton straight off centre half back. Kicks it out wide, looking for Hagger in a one-on-one. Spoil was good from Meehan. And over now for throw in between wing and half forward, far side of the ground. One of the many picturesque football grounds across this competition. That was a mistimed or misdirected throw in, landed in Tato's lap, so the umpire will be asked to do that again. It's almost done the same thing. Umpire let that one go. Not sure how you let one go and call the other one back, but out of bounds on the full from Ryan, trying to curl that around the corner. Ryan pushes back, almost makes good on that, but his teammate takes the mark in any case. Chips into the middle of the ground, finds Clacy. Kicks pretty well to a leading target, got a weight underneath it. Taking the mark there is Styles. Styles goes towards a leading forward who was outnumbered there in a 3-on-1. That was Villano. They keep it alive here, Pakenham. Good tackling. Tracking back after it. Kamanzuli down towards the top of the square. Good kick. It was Hago, rather, with the centering ball. Finds his teammate who takes the mark 15 metres out. Should be able to get them away. Opens up the angle on the left. Steers it low and steers it through. He's going to come to the bench after kicking that first goal. In fact, he's pushing up to the wing, in actual fact. Looked like he was coming off Cade Perkins, but pushing up into the wing position. 117 Pakenham. Alexandra 2 straight 12. All this action for Hillsville Greyhounds. Not all that far from where we are right now. Trying to wrestle it out of there was Parker. Kick smothered there off the boot of Steiner. Still inside the centre square. Steiner with a big frame. Dives in low over the footy and locks it in. Centre half forward for Alexandra. Hand pass shoveled into the middle of the ground. Good tackle by Lee. Holds it up. Blue skies for the time being. Left foot kick forward here from Pakenham. Nicholas not favoured by the bounce. Hall turns his opponent inside out, but they were quick to get back on him and shut that down. It's a third effort from Pakenham there. Nicholas, one possession but coughed it up. Quick kick forward there by Charlie Boots. Down towards centre half forward mark. Almost taken at the back here by Alexandra, but well worked by Pakenham Menzel. It's wide here. Ryan having a pretty strong start to the game. Menzel keeps running. Marks forward of centre. Goes to centre half forward. It's a good kick. Finds Cassia. 42 goals in the season for Cassia. And a well-weighted kick to Stanton, who pushes back hard. Might have caught one in the back of the head on the way down. Get up and take a breath. Go back and have a tricky shot at goal. Man on the mark about 43 metres out. So Tanner Stanton on the approach. Kick from just a couple of steps inside 50. Crosses the paint now. Left footer strikes it beautifully. That's a lovely kick. Gives them the lead. First time since the opening behind about 10 minutes ago. 2-1-13 to 2 straight 12. Middle stages of the term. That elimination final clash between Monbulk and Healesville has advanced to about the halfway point of the first term. Healesville on the board. Monbulk 2-3-15. Healesville 1 straight 6 in that one. It's good for the contest that Healesville able to settle back into it. Clearance to Pakenham, enjoying a good little patch in the game. Good kick forward. Mark taken here by Styles. Turns and goes very quickly inside 50, front and centre. Nice hand pass through towards Villano there from Nicholas. They go towards goal and they get it there. Just kept the ball in front, off the ground, and they get 3 in a row in quick time. And they're out by 7, 3-1-19 to 2 straight 12. good vision from Finn Nicholas to see Villano, who was surrounded by 3 or 4 players, but did have a little bit of room and was facing goal. And they set it up very nicely. So Tato's tried to kick that out of mid-air in the ruck. Good play here as Green sends them inside 50 once more. Bit of a nudge there from Casey. Villano takes on the tackler. Brought to ground. Alexandra tried to wrestle it out by hand. Coming across the front there is Cardona. Stripped of it and dispossessed. Styles holding the ball. Short kick finds Lucas. Down the line to a contest. Gets over the back. Ryan, another possession. And over for a throw-in. Free kick for a hold there to the ruckman, Tato. Gets it off to the goal kicker, Stanton. Goes down the line. Clears traffic. Nicholas having an influence to Styles, who takes the mark. Running with the flight. Found an option inside 50. They can almost turn and go, but Hagger, who's kicked 5 goals in the 2 meetings between these sides and also kicked 2 last week in the qualifying final, can line up for his first, and very similar position to where Stanton kicked his goal. Maybe 5 metres closer. Pakenham getting on top in the last 10 minutes, looking for a 4th consecutive goal. That starts well out to the right. And the mark has been taken just inside the field of play. Not going to be an easy shot from out there, but he's kicked plenty of goals this year, Sam Casey. He's at 42. He's the leading goal kicker for his team. Now it looks like he's shaping for the right foot banana rather than trying to go on the non-preferred. Goes to the banana and kicks it near side. 1 behind for he. 3-2-20 to 2 straight 12. Local Footy Hub scoreboard. It's a nice kick, finds Aikman. And pass off to a runner. They loop it over the top. They're not out of danger yet by any means. They get run down. Meehan storming outside defensive 50s. Nailed by Hagger, who had that last shot at goal. Goes to Stanton, turns, hits it up on the left. Good coverage from Meehan, going back, trying to make good. Boots up towards Nankervis, climbing high with Styles, trying to take a hanger. Green paddles it towards right, gets the hand pass back towards Brooks. Into the middle of the ground, Stanton finds a teammate by hand. It might come back to him here, Stanton. Quickly onto the left. Lands about 40 metres out. Free kick there for a push, and they could have taken the advantage potentially. But I think the umpire would have seen that enough time had passed in the game, and I think it's Hall's free kick. It looked like it might have been Casey's at first. But it will be Hall, so perhaps not the one we saw initially, because Casey was certainly catapulted out of the contest. And it looks like Hall might have been held in the aftermath of that. Straight in front. 35, 40 metres out. And I reckon he snuck that home. Goal umpire did quite a bit of work to get across to his right. But it snuck in. And that's 4 in a row to Pakenham, who are getting on top here. 4-2-26 to 2 straight 12. 14-point advantage. Alexandra, who led the game by 11 points maybe 15 minutes ago, now needing a goal. 20-minute mark. Good sense that they're not going to get away with, a healthy quarter-time deficit for the second week in a row against quality opposition. Free kick is with Pakenham in the middle. Tato looking for the runner coming past, and come past it does. Martini drives it down the middle. Hagger got hands to it, couldn't take the mark. Crunch there was Clacy. Umpire says that's holding the ball. Parker. So Tato was pushing back hard, but it got over the top of that. The contest, open forward line, not a bad looking kick on the lead, the mark taken, and it's the big man Stewart. We've seen Pakenham kick a couple of good set shots at their ends. Now the league's leading goal kicker required to do the same at his end. Already got one for the game and 61 for the season. 5 clear of his nearest rival. Crosses 50, kicks that beautifully. And they needed that just to break that momentum. It's their third, 3 straight 18, Pakenham 4-2-26. And early goal of the day contender for Architectural Cladding Supplies. Make sure you check out the Outer East Football Netball League footy show every Friday with Steph Barkas and Aidan Miller, 5 p.m. on the OEFN Facebook pages, and of course here at the local footy hub. Looks like there's a bit of blood rule there on the knee, perhaps. So back in the middle. Very acrobatic there from Orjard in the ruck. Tato so far has rucked unchanged. And pass comes back. Alexandra build. They had a couple of options by hand. Probably picked the right one in the end. Georgiades kick down the line. It's deflected over the boundary for a throw-in. Haven't had a lot of stoppages. It's been a pretty fast game. It's been good to note Pakenham this year. They've shown the ability to play at different paces. Game against Seville that we spoke about, that was a lot about retaining possession, chipping and marking and sharing it around. And today they've switching and going quick. Both can be effective. Styles and Stanton share it around. Boots. Now it's inside 50. Good mark by Lee. Gets it off to a runner. Driven into the middle of the ground. Styles in a fair bit of space. Had a short option he probably could have used. Decided to go long towards Cashier instead of Menzel. And Alexandra were able to pick it off. Kick well short of its target. Martini takes the mark. Switches all the way across. Stanton would have had close to double-figure possessions. Good kick. Right, plays on. Not sure he's seen the pressure coming from behind and he's gone. Be careful not to reverse that with a little shot. Welcome back. Umpires breaking from their huddles, moving position. Both sides still gathered together at this point. Fascinating second term. Both sides look to have a lot of firepower. Both sides look to be dangerous when they go inside their forward line. Pakenham, there's a few more opportunities. Bit of momentum swinging around in that quarter. We saw Alexandra come out well. The first couple of goals, which would have put some doubt in Pakenham, given their loss last week. But then they hit back really nicely. Kick 4 goals in about 15 minutes to take a 14-point lead. Alexandra got a couple back by Stewart and also Orjard to close it to a point, and then Pakenham with one late goal there and nearly another. They lead it by 8 points. It's been threatening to rain, but so far hasn't done so. Quarter time in the elimination final of the Premier Division. Healesville 4 straight 24, leading Monbulk 3-4-22 there. So that looks like a pretty interesting contest. The winner of that game to play the side who calls this venue home, Warrialec, who got beaten by 4 points by Olinda Ferny Creek in their hit out yesterday, the qualifying final. So, some fascinating footy still to be played over the course of the next few weeks. Both divisions. Week 2 of the finals in Div 1 and week 1 of the finals in Premier. So opening bounce to start the second quarter. Ever so light drizzle. Tato a little bit early in the ruck. Alexandra are going to get a free kick for a hold and take advantage. Obviously knew the whistle was for them. Floating it down to half forward. Kick really didn't have enough penetration on it. They had a couple of players free on the lead. It didn't get there. Escaping out the back door beautifully there was Parker. Lovely left foot kick into the pocket. Stewart had it knocked away and it's over for a throw in. Toss back in, 0-0 draw in the ruck. Escaping was Grimwade. Hand pass was turned over. Now the kick blazes out of bounds on the full. So Saints to put it back inside. Franco, nice rundown tackle in the first quarter. Sets it up in the Nankervis direction, or he'll almost crumb it rather. Prendergast curls it back towards the top of the square. And Stewart, once he got rid of his opponent, took almost an uncontested mark. Just sort of fell into his lap, but good judgment, good use of the body. Took it comfortably, top of the square, and you'd think Monty to kick his third goal. 15 metres out, directly in front, pops it through. 63 on the season, 3 today. And they're back within 2 points with the first goal of the term. 5-1-31, Pakenham 5-3-33. Winner to play Warburton. The preliminary final, Seville awaiting the winner of that. So this is the third last game of the season. Shows you how high the stakes are. Just waiting for the footy to come back. Obviously kicking from point blank range in the goal square. He sent it into orbit and down into the Greenlands. We're back in the middle. There is Parker, who got them going inside 50 for that last opportunity. Towards Nankervis, who was caught behind, pins one of the wings of Lee. Perfect tackle, but not sure there was a prior opportunity. Now they've been called to play on, and it's going to be a reverse holding the ball. Not sure that was the finest passage of football or umpiring. The Pakenham ball at centre-half back. They chip it and find Clacy. Out to the wing, Brooks. Marks in the fingertips. Spears it to half forward. Good little intercepting hands in there from Bourgeard. It bounces back to Stanton. Stanton's kick smothered. And now the door opens here for Alexandra to barrel it inside 50. Watkins waits for it to bounce. If it sneaks through here, Stewart could kick his fourth. And he does. It was going to be a free kick. to Watkins, had that not have gone through, the advantage was waved on. He read it really nicely. Watkins too, put the body on the line, copped a hit, knocked it into space. As he copped that hit, he won the free kick. But Stewart took the momentum and kicked his fourth, 6-1-37 to 5-3-33. Certainly in the running early stages here for the best on ground for Petter's suspension and brakes. I think he'll take some catching if he keeps that momentum going. Score as it was in the Monbulk-Healesville clash, still 2 points in favour of Healesville. Quarter time score there, 4 straight to 3-4. Free kick Pakenham in the middle. Lacey, good kick. Now they opted to play on there and the umpires paid a throw. So they are pretty hot on that. Kamanzuli penalised. They're hot on the correct disposal, prior opportunity interpretation. Parker having a real influence in this quarter. Kick had a bit too much on it there for Percy. Does pretty well to keep it in front of himself, then gets support from Massey. It's back towards Percy, just steps straight into a tackle. And no prior. And Curvis caught immediately in a tackle. So we've already had 3 lead changes in the first half. Stanton goes to Styles. Styles pulls the kick in the Villano direction, who then goes on the left. Not a bad idea, but they were standing in the way and they take the mark here. Alexandra, they'll drive it down towards Cooper. Good kick too, 50-metre pass to advantage. Just waiting for the ball there was Edwards. Takes the mark. Edwards goes to the very reliable option of Stewart. Couldn't take the mark. Turns around to the umpire and suggests that the arm was dragged down, but other ideas. Ball tossed back in. Then Curvis flicks it down. Lovely. Sharking it into the open goal. Grimwade had a little bit of a look on the run from 25. And they kicked their third of the quarter. Very good start. And they've now kicked 5 of the last 6 in the game. And they take a 10-point lead, 7-1-43 to 5-3-33. And putting the pressure back on Pakenham as the momentum bounces back and forward in this one. Pakenham with the clearance. Lacey goes forward. Meeting it hard there was Percy. It's a hand pass out, short kick towards Lucas. They'll go into the middle of the ground. Pakenham have all of the numbers here. It's the deck. That could be dangerous, but Nankervis goes in there and lends a hand. E1 for the umpire to interpret. They're finding space here, Alexandra. At will go inside 50. And Brooks, with an important intercept mark, goes to Stanton in the middle. Stanton places his left foot kick to half forward. Cashier in some space. They can't afford to give him that much room. And now no one stands the mark for the moment. So he could have wheeled and gone, but he'll go back and back himself with a set shot. We've seen Stanton and also Stewart kick long-range goals in this game for their respective teams. So the man on the mark is 48, 49 metres out. So he's going to have to kick from just outside 50. Nice looking kick, and he's got it. Went right to the line. They had the tall timber back to shepherd if necessary, and it gets over the hands. First goal of the second quarter for Pakenham. Breaks a run of 3 against them. 10 minutes in, 7-1-43 plays 6-3-39. Orjard in the ruck there, Prendergast. It was a throw. They're not going to pay advantage because it was a bit of an indiscriminate soccer off the ground. It might have ended up working out okay, but so Boots it is rather, goes up towards attacking 50. Alexandra win it back. Didn't quite go the required distance. Wright gave it off towards Ryan, and now it's Cardona who has it in the back pocket. Spearing low kick, gave every chance to the leading player there in Styles. Keeps it alive, but Handpass actually concedes some territory, puts Cardona under pressure. Bit of a fumble, but got out of it okay. Styles lended support, goes up towards centre half back. Charlie Boots takes a good intercept mark. Goes long, Stewart the target at the back. Gets over the back, Ryan's kick. Doesn't get them out of danger. Good work in the middle of pressure there from Casey, pushing a long way up the ground, but then he's stripped of it and holding the ball. The pressure, real feature. Alexandra at the moment having a massive dip. Leading target, great kick. Front on contact. Play on's the call. The umpires paid advantage on the holding the ball. Cardona will streak away. Kick smothered. Boots did it beautifully. Continues to put pressure on. Wright gets through. Kick smothered. Comes back towards Boots. Breaks the tackle. Good strength. Couple of leading options. Floated the kick well wide of the target in Watkins. Gets a bit of a look there from Orjard, who said I was on short. And now Stanton on the counter-attack. Goes to a one-on-one when he also had Green free. Casey was the target of that. Under pressure. Picked up by Goiter at the back. Bounces it down the line. Stays inside the field of play. And Percy works it over for a throw-in. All square in the Monbulk-Healesville game. 3-6-24 to 4 straight 24. About 10 minutes into the second quarter of that game. In fact, that's just refreshed. So 5-point lead to Healesville now. 6 straight, 36 to 4, 7, 31. 5-point advantage. Villano taking that forward ruck work. Nankervis plays the role of rover there. Bounces a kick up to centre half back. They go with the check side. Really clever kick too. Finds Stewart, who's pushed up to the wing. Had a couple of options. Boots was one of those. Steiner, another. Steiner receives and goes towards Parker, who is pushing across to half forward. Pakenham get it back in the middle of the ground. Stanton having a very nice game. Takes the mark. Boots trying to impact the contest, but excellent mark from Ryan. Those two players probably the best for Pakenham. Stanton and Ryan so far. Villano on the leads. Kick just misses him. Hall, good speed. Takes on the tackler at the boundary and loses that fight. Holding the ball. Then Curvis marks at centre half back. Goes all the way back to his defensive goal square. And overstepping the mark there. Pretty hot on that call. They'll be advanced here. 25 metres up the grounds. Good vision. Georgiades should mark and does. See the blue armbands for the fallen Victoria Police members. We saw that minute silence before the game. Kicks to the leading target, which was Massey. Great spoil from Cardona. There's a free kick here by the non-controlling umpire. Which way has he gone there? It's gone against Pakenham. Parker sets it up. Targets in Stewart and Watkins. It hits the deck. Squeezing little kick out of there from Perkins into the middle of the ground. Hall again takes on the tackle and gets one high this time. Good hard running there from Perkins. Kicked the goal in the first term. Not a great kick down the line. Clever knock there from Percy. It was almost caught high at ground level. Another holding the ball decision. They've been quite prevalent here at halfway through the quarter now, about 15 minutes in. Pulls the kick to a dangerous position. Crunching the pack there was Ryan. Couldn't take the mark. Pouncing on it, Spence. As comes out. Another long kick towards a 2-on-1. Great lead and mark there from Watkins. The number 20 as opposed to the 16. Goes towards Stewart on attacking 50. Good use of the body there. Good mark from Jones. Into the middle to Ryan. He has about 3 options in mind. Goes with the shortest of those who can run. That'll be a relayed free kick to Kamanzuli. Not the smartest bit of play. And it brings Cassia into the game again. He just nailed one from here a moment ago on the opposite side, same distance. Looking for his second and to restore the lead. .49 metres out, that starts left and stays there. 1 goal, 2. For Sam Cassia, 6-4, plays 7-1. Kick into Massey. Got too close to the player on the mark. Smothered kick and it out of bounds. Nankervis. Crashing through is Meehan. It's going to be a free kick in the pocket there to Pakenham. Hall copping one. Close to the boundary, but a mercurial player. 39 goals for the season. Kick number 40 and give them back the leads. Yes, he can. Clever goal, his second. It's his team's first multiple goal scorer. 7-4-46 plays 7-1-43. 3-point game. Middle stages beyond here in the second quarter. The first semi-final. On bulk by 4 points, 5-10-40 to Hillsville, 6 straight 36 clearance to Alexandra, bouncing it towards the half-forward flank. Not a great bounce there for Lee. Gave it to Ryan. Ryan quickly onto his left boot, down towards centre half forward. Hall takes the mark. Smallest man in the contest, read it best. Goes to the pocket, Cassia, or longer than that. And it goes a little bit longer than that and finds Green, who's taking a bit of a spell forward. The vice-captains will line up here from 35 metres out on a tight angle. As the momentum goes back Pakenham's way, they look for 3 goals in a row, having given up 3 in a row to start the term. on the approach. Kick starts right. One behind. 7-5-47 to 7-1-43. Nearly at time on. The second quarter been a very entertaining game. Someone trying to track down the ball. There it is. Meehan has it in his hands now at the top of the square. Thumps it up to the wing. Good contested mark taken there from Hagger. Towards Casey at the back. And a free kick will go to Alexandra. Some interference in defence. Meehan goes the attempting the same kick again. Really there. It's hand pass through towards Charlie Boots. They go over the top towards Spence. Gets a little 1-2 there with Orjard. Hooks the kick up towards attacking 50. The umpire's paid a hold. And which way is it going to go? He hasn't stuck the arm out. It's going to go the way of Alexandra, and it's going to be Edwards. Against Wright, who asked the question, wasn't that just a wrestle? So Edwards with the chance now. Goal kicker on the season, as we said, with 23. Hasn't troubled the scorers today. Has been the Stewart show down there with 4. Kicks from about 48 metres and misses to the right. (7-2-44 to 7-5-47). Go straight up the middle, finds Stanton. Chips into the middle. Full stretch there was right, couldn't take the mark. Spence, Parker. Trying to get the hand pass out. Important knock on there by Wright. Ryan now has it. It's worked forward. Alexandra with a lot of space here if the ball sits. And it just didn't enough. Just slightly overcommitting there was Orjard knocks it out of play. Good tackle. And we'll do it again. Holding free kick. Which way is that going to go? Pakenham. Tato has it. So Nankervis didn't stand the mark as everyone else was on the ground. Took off, which allowed Tato to progress it forward, find a target. Ryan doing it all over the ground at the moment. Seen him possessions in defence and in midfield. That kick well weighted. And they'll get a shot at goal here from directly in front. Finn Nicholas, a creative player. Set up a couple of their shots. Now gets one of his own. Directly in front, pretty good conditions for goal kicking. 45 metres out, and he's nailed that one. They take the 9-point advantage, 3 goals each in the quarter and in intervals of 3 in a row. 8-5-53 Pakenham. Alexandra 7-2-44, 9-point game. So Alexandra's turn to need a response. Holding free kick will go to Pakenham in the middle here. Clacy. Kick was smothered. Orjard did really well coming out and attacking it. And they lock it in. We'll have a bounce just inside the centre square. Socket forward. There was a little bit of a hold play on Zakor. Quickly onto the boot there from Grimwade, who's got a goal in this quarter. Watkins attacked it well. Stewart, kick smothered, went straight up in the air on the deflection, and that's going to be a free kick for high contact. An interesting one there on Edwards, who kind of went the fend off. The arm went over the top of his fend and caught him around the neck. He missed a shot from a little bit further out, similar angle, 3 or 4 minutes ago. His team needs this one, and said he's been their second highest goal scorer this season. Not long left in the first half. Kicks from 30, pushes that one across the face. So he's missed one to the right and one to the left in this term. 7-3-45 to 8-5-53. About 25 minutes, second quarter. Shouts on the ground of long and wide and crunch time, with the two things being said. A little bit of a block. And it's going to go the way of Alexandra. Depends where the footy is. And it comes back. Lucas tries to find a leading target, drop the kick well short. Good mark, good courage from Hagger. Generally noted at the other end of the ground, but pushing back, doing a very good job in defence there. Finds Kamanzuli. Goes over the top. Lacey takes the mark. Feels like Pakenham just taking some of the pace out of this to get to half-time with a lead. High kick wide. Will it stay in the field of play? It does. Then off hands for a throw-in. 53-45. Good game. Monbulk skip out to an 18-point lead over Healesville. 7-12-54 to 6 straight 36. But without seeing that game, 19 shots to 6 telling. Pakenham, Stanton dumped as he hand passed it. Clacy went down the line and it went out of play. Help down, high hand, close to the line. Clacy kept it in and then just shoveled it out. Not sure anyone saw that. Yeah, the non-controlling umpire did. The umpire on the spot did not. He was blindsided to that one. But either a throw or intentionally out of bounds. Stewart at the back, climbs high, but good mark again in front from Hagger. Second time in the last few minutes. Martini takes the mark. Telegraphed the kick a little bit, showed it to Franco, who knocks it out of play. And that is all she wrote in the first half. 8-5-53 to 7-3-45. An 8-point margin, 3 goals, 2 each in that quarter. For Pakenham, 2 to Hall, singles to Stanton, Ahern, Cassia, Perkins, Nicholas and Villano. For Alexandra, Stewart has 4, Watkins, Grimwade and Orjard with their goals. A big thank you to our major sponsors, Healesville Greyhounds, a local footy hub, of course, Pettis Suspension and Brakes, Architectural Cladding Supplies, Game Face Vision, and at Ready Recovery, you can play hard, recover harder. Use the code LOCALFootyHub15 at the checkout for 15% off. Big second half to come. Here it is 8.5.53 Pakenham, 7.3.45 Alexandra. Now, BMK Commercial Carpentry and Plastering, great to have them on board. BMK Built. And all of our game day sponsors, of course, you can head to the localfootyhub.com.au or download the app for all of the live games, latest news, match replays, team and player stats, finals draw and everything that comes with it. Players gathering into position here. Lady at the canteen here at Alec was under the pump, hadn't made coffees before, and a little bit concerned as to how that one would come out, but it's done a very good job. Certainly have a living in that. So in the middle, Bourgeard will start the second half in there against Tato, who's rucked almost unchanged. Big collision between the two of them. Stanton was held, but it's a free kick before that. Now, the umpire's blown the whistle, and now he puts the arm out. It was likely to be a Pakenham free kick, but just a question of to who. Gorgeous day all of a sudden. Sunshine everywhere. Cardona takes the mark. And a protected area infringement, which is going to go against Edwards. Argument was that he was following his opponent. And it is a technical one. Probably a fraction too far out to score here. Cardona, the man on the mark is right on 50, but you never know. Darting eyes, but now we'll settle for the shot. A big one if you can land a blow from long range here. Sets it up from 52. And climbing and taking the mark in the pocket is Green. So should be able to kick this from 10 metres out. Kicked it behind late in the second quarter. And from close in gets the goal. Perfect start to the second half and the biggest lead of the game for either side, 14 points. Matches the lead they held halfway through the first quarter. Alexandra needing one to steady here. They've conceded 4 in a row for the second time in the game. Stanton, another possession inside 50, front spot, good mark. Aikman has it. Short, finds a target in Boots. Finds Meehan. Down the line, punched and goes over eventually. Styles with the attempt to keep it in. Punch forward there by Nankervis. Parker. Stripped of it. Styles. Caught in a tackle there by Parker. Working hard into it. Play on there as Tato aimed to have been held in the ruck. Tato and Nankervis comes down towards Boots. Driven off the ground forward, gains about 35 metres. Potentially a hold there on Bourgeard. play on as a left foot kick goes. Prendergast meeting the sandwich. Ryan, good give to Stanton. Those two waxing again towards Villano on the lead. Comes out full-chested and marks. Can Villano sink this from long range for his second? Kicked the goal off the ground in the first quarter. Pakenham making a bit of a move here early in the second half. Long left foot kick out to the left. Stays in play. Green kicks the goal. Front and centre, knew he didn't have long, so just quickly went into the snapping motion, and he's got both the goals in the second half. And that 8-point lead becomes 20. One of the vice captains in this lineup having an influence. Socket out of midair. Bourgeard gathers, breaks the tackle. Tato feeds the hand pass out, run down tackle, no prior. Parker, been a hard worker, gets onto his left foot. Looks a bit like Tony Francis is Parker. A blast from the past, very good mark taken out there by Edwards, who's already missed 2 shots in this game. This is probably a little bit harder than the previous 2. Better side though for a right footer. Opens up the angle, runs to 52, drives it long and misses. 3 behinds. But Josh Edwards, 7-4, 46, plays 10-5, 65. Green, the man of the moment, pushes up and takes the mark at half-back this time. Gets the hand pass off to a runner. Loading kick forward. It was touched off the boot. Meehan took possession, but it was then tackled after the ball had spilt free. So we'll get the free kick. Goes into the middle, really good release kick to Boots, who can streak forward, go to the leading target and find a right option, pushing up into space. A chance at goal here to Stewart, who's already got 4. Was 4 clear of Humphreys coming into today, now 8 clear. Humphreys will play at least 1 more game. And Lily Stewart would like to do the same. And he's got it. It was tight, but it's in, and he's kicked 5 straight. And they stay in the game with that. Back to 13 points. 8-4, 52 to 10-5, 65. So hanging in. That halftime score still in the Monbulk-Healesville game. 8-12, 60 Monbulk. Healesville 6 straight to 36. Elimination final 4v5 there. Monbulk at this stage looking the team likely to play Warrialic, where we are today, in next week's first semi, probably on Father's Day, that game. Took on a couple of tackles and lost. It was Boots, who's giving them a bit of drive, but just couldn't get free on that occasion. Comes out to Clacy. Hall caught behind there, and that'll be a free kick. Could put the arms out, but certainly an unrealistic attempt. You prerequisite, if you get hands on the ball there, you're okay, but didn't do that. Meehan. Good release ball out here towards Lucas. Down the line, Stanton will trap it. Good hand pass. Finds its way through towards Perkins. Good kick. Hagger. Has turned that one over, dropping into the hole. There is Meehan, who's built into the game pretty well. Been a bit of a rock down there. Kicks towards Watkins on the far side of the ground. Couldn't hang on to the mark. Placey with another possession. Into Ryan towards Villano. 1-on-1. Toe poke dangerously and kicking in danger in actual fact. Advantage paid goal. Kicked by Lee. Back to kick by Hagar. Now has 3 in this final series, 2 last week, 1 today. Answering goal, 11-5-71 to 8-4-52. 3 goals to 1 in the quarter. Just some of those defensive errors going off the ground. It was a dangerous kick anyway, taking out the fact that it is kicking in danger. Dangerous in both senses. To be conceding that level of territory deep in defence as well. As Clayton brought to ground, perfect tackle. Well done there by Harry Prendergast. Alexandra needing to keep the pressure on here. Sets it up to the wing. Spoilt over for a throw-in. Watkins might have popped a finger out there. Split the thumb there. He's actually trying to show the umpire that he's bleeding. Umpire hasn't spotted that yet. It's kept alive there by Ryan. Only as far as Steiner, though. And the play continuing on here. Boots can run towards goal. Long kick looks okay, just to the near side. 8-5 plays 11-5. Umpire still calling for a player, still trying to alert the umpire to blood raw. And now we do get the signal. Just as Alexandra have won the ball in the pocket, the shots are getting progressively harder here for Edwards, who's got the 3 behind. He's getting tighter and tighter on the angles. He's now up against the fence. They've all been from around about this mark. They haven't missed by much, but have all indeed missed. Can he deliver his 24th of the season? Get them back within 2 goals. Ideal time for the little break in play. Opens up the angle, runs around and pushes it across the face. Knocked off hands. And a rush behind this time. 8-6-54 to 11-5-71. Goes to the short kick across. Mark taken the back pocket. Goes over the top and finds Martini. Down the line finds Menzel. Now Alexandra had the numbers in the air. They were able to kill that contest, bring it to ground. Parker, quick high kick. That's going to work out okay. Aikman turns, drives him inside 50, splitting the pack there. Stewart. Now the hand pass out. Flying shot at goal, misses to the left. It's that man again. Edwards with 4 behinds. That hit the post. 8-7 to 11-5. Ryan targeted the kick in. Goes over and finds Cardona. Kicks into the middle. Well weighted ball and good mark taken. The hands there by Menzel. Called to play on. And that's fine as he finds Nicholas. Turns, goes to the top of the square. And the umpire's paid a push. And it'll go a defensive free kick to be taken by Harry Aikman. Mark taken here by Prendergast. Centering kick is okay towards Percy. Out here towards Meehan. Called to play on as momentum carried him forward. Goes further afield. They can trot down the wing. Awkward kick lands between a couple of Alexandra players here. They're forced to put the pressure on. Grimwade, one of those on the wing, 16-point game. Target Hall lands at his feet. Outpointed there. The hurried snap, that's okay. Just a bit of a hit and hope, but it lands on the chest of a teammate. Long before the two high flyers are there, both Watkins and Stewart, and Watkins is marked. He came across the front of the pack, got a hand to it, and then caught it on the way down. Man wearing number 20, the skipper, has one already. And that was the very first goal of the game to that end of the grounds about an hour and a half ago. We'll line them up. Very important kick. They've had the last 3 shots in this game, missed all of them. To get within 10 points. It's not going to be a score. It sets up at the top of the square. And they take the front and centre here. Clearing kick from Kamanzuli and it finds Ryan. Moves it on to Brooks. Further afield, Green, who's already kicked 2 in this term. Zano the target, or Villano the target, takes the mark. Probably got the trip in him. He missed a shot from this sort of range at the start of this quarter, and another one on the quarter time siren. Drives a lovely looking kick through for a goal. His second, and the margin grows. 22 points, 12,577 to 8,755. Excellent long range strike. Kick smothered. Stanton. Inside 50, they could run onto the loose ball here, Hall. If it sits, it doesn't. Villano at the back. Tracks onto it, breaks the tackle, and then doesn't break the second one. Umpire looked like he'd paid advantage initially, but then I think realised that the mark had been set. Off hands and over for a throw-in. Dankervis wins the tap, close to the boundary line. Boots sees it over. Dankervis gains about 30 metres on the tap. Wajad is there. They need a goal for three-quarter time. .31 lead to Monbulk, 10-14-74, Hillsville 7-1-43, Premier Division Elimination Final. Floating left foot kick, Styles will get it on the bounce, then caught in the tackle and pretty red hot holding the ball, as has been the norm. Had a couple of options there, perhaps could have gone to Parker. Parker will cut again onto that left foot. Orjard spills the mark, gets himself into trouble. Hand pass, see Cardona swoop back on it. Ball up here, the half forward flank. Alexandra must kick the next one, you sense. Gang tackle and held up. Nice tap there from Nankervis. Boots works it inside 50. Trembath turns into traffic and is gone. And it's another shot from this sort of range for Alexandra. They've had 3 misses and 1 that didn't make the distance. And now Luke Spence, who has kicked 21 goals this season, so knows where they are. They've got to hit one of these soon. And that's missed as well. 1 goal 5 in this quarter to 4 goals straight. Tells quite the tale. Clever knock there from Franco. Styles. Hand pass through, and that'll be holding it against Clacy. Charlie Boots. And a free kick there at the front of the marking contest. And now you'd think it's in the safest hands of all. We're right behind Stewart, who's kicked 5 straight. They've had enough chances that even at 21 points down, they would feel they're a chance. We've seen 7 shots to 4 in this quarter. Can Stewart nail his 6th? 48 metres out, 45-degree angle. We're right behind the kick, and he's got it right on line. And they badly needed that, and it keeps them in the game. 12-5-77 Pakenham, 9-8-62 Alexandra. 6 goals in a final to William Stewart. 66 for the season. With a buffer of 10 now, he probably wins the goal kicking at both the end of the home and away season and the end of the finals, unless Humphreys does something extraordinary over the next 1 or 2 games. And of course, Stewart will be hoping to add to it today, and he'd be hoping that there is a next week as well. Orjard bounces it to centre half forward. Cardona takes on the tackle. Gets through, knocked to ground, but tackle didn't stick, so he got the hand pass away. Menzel dispossessed. Alexandra with some run here. Lucas goes inside 50. And again, skipper has a chance. Didn't make the distance about 6 minutes ago. He's probably 3 or 4 metres closer and directly in front. The old captain's goal. To get it back to 9 points. 6 from 48. Looks good, and it's in. He's got 2 back-to-back goals, and it's game on again. 10-8-68 to 12-5-77. Goal each in the Monbulk-Hillsville game. Monbulk 11-14-80, 31 points up on Hillsville, 8-1-49. 3 goals 2 to 2 goals 1 in the third term so far in that game. 3 goals 5 to 4 straight the third quarter of this one. Got it down. Fresh airy out of that from Ryan. And that's high contact there on Sam Boots. The two Boots have been influential. Can they get another one here and close to within a kick? Awkward ball inside 50. Trying to paddle it over the back. They'll snap towards the top of the square. Defensive mark taken by Jones. Out onto the scoreboard side. Brooks feeds it down the line. Good kick. Mark taken on a long lead there. Ahern goes into the middle of the ground and finds Menzel. Green takes the mark. Between wing and half forward. Good patient build up here. Finds Villano. Couple of goals next to his name. Thumping kick back to the top of the square. Hall caught behind his opponent. Recovers. Goes over his head. What about that for a goal? Mason Hall with a gem. Goal of the day for Architectural Cladding Supplies. That is a special. He was caught behind, was able to bring it to ground, surrounded by 4 players, didn't really have time to take possession. That is a tremendous goal. $13,583 plays $10,868. Free kick to Pakenham. Tato. And the siren will beat them. 5-goal quarter for Pakenham. They extend the 8-point halftime lead to 15. Open game. Any result still possible. Pakenham perhaps with a bit of an edge in polish when they go inside 50 at the moment. Hall with 3 goals, including a beauty there. Green 2, Villano 2, singles to Stanton, Ahern, Acacia, Hagger, Perkins and Nicholas. And for Alexandra, 6 to Stewart, 2 to Watkins, singles to Grinwade and Orjard. 13,583 plays 10,868 with 1 to play. Big thank you to our sponsors, Healesville Greyhounds, the local footy hub, Pettis Suspension and Brakes, Architectural Cladding Supplies and Game Face Vision. A big last quarter still to come. Quarter to play. Alexandra have already broken from the huddle and in position. Pakenham being held just a tiny bit longer. There's been a couple of those warning sirens. Whistle blowing, asking them now to break, and they've done so. One last effort to get them into a preliminary final to take on Warburton. Warburton licking their wounds, obviously coming off a 10-goal loss yesterday. So the winner of this game would feel like certainly a chance of maybe exploiting that next week. Three-quarter time in the Premier Division elimination final. Monbulk 12-15, 87 appear to have it in check against Healesville. 8-1, 49, 38-point lead in that one. Several in this division sitting in the grand final waiting to see what happens over today and next week. Hoping that everybody belts the suitcase out of each other over that period of time and that there's some sore bodies wherever these matches land. It's the ball about to be bounced in the middle here. Alexandra have to start the momentum early. Tato took possession out of the ruck and then was knocked out of the way. We'll have a secondary bounce. Then Curvis soccers it out of the air towards half forward. It's almost a terrific mark, taking it centre half back down there for Pakenham. It was Martini in there, nothing doing, and now a bounce. Tato and Nankervis, now Parker forward to the edge of 50. Numbers here with Alexandra. They just need a little bit of voice. Free kick to Massey, who was cannoned into. And I want to strike first. It's around on the mark, sets it up. Stewart the target, held. Play on's the call. Over the boundary line. So both Ruckman and Curvis and was down in that area against Tato, who's done a mountain of work straight at the boundary line and seen as such. So it's going to be Jack. Brings the kick in. And they're going to have to go back and reset. Goes to the leading option in the pocket, finds the target. And Watkins with a very difficult shot. Does he go the drop punt or does he try to open up the angle? It's kind of that awkward distance. Or if you're going to go around the body, are you too far? Looks like he's shaping for the drop punt. Steps out, opens up the angle, pulls the kick savagely to the left and out of bounds on the full. So brought into the pocket and now a 5-metre penalty, taking them up to centre half back. Good mark here taken by Wright, who's had a tough day at times, but has worked pretty hard. Martini receives the hand pass, goes into the middle of the ground. Zoli to Brooks. Can Pakenham land a hammer blow early in the quarter mark. Spilt by Clacy. Paddled into some space. Good running for support there by Henanzuli to follow up and get another possession. Spiked forward, didn't go far enough though. Hurried snap towards goal, out a player back in the square. Good presence of mind because that was online. Not a great kick on the way out. Awkward bounce too for Aikman down there. Fighting hard, tenaciously there. They escape via green. Just got the disposal away. Have it thrown up. Tato to Ryan, back to Tato, now Villano. High left foot kick, plenty of carry on that. That's a thumper to behind, but he's kicked that 55 metres on a snap off almost a standing start. Massive kick. Not an easy thing to do over that distance. Alexandra work it to halfback, Massey. 16-point game. Up to the wing. On the lead there was Stewart, knocked away from him. So no goals yet to start this final term, about 5 minutes in. Obviously time off the clock, suiting Pakenham's objectives here with a 3-goal advantage. Free kick at the bottom of the pack for high contact. Having a good last quarter is Thomas Massey. Drives him into the pocket. Stewart, the meat in the sandwich, knocked over for a throw-in. Right on the 50. Ryan tried to paddle it along with his hands. It was a holding free kick there to Pakenham, and it will be that man, Luke Ryan. A lot of possessions for him today. Casey, the target, ran a little bit underneath it. Stanton gets the hand pass back. Long ball forward there from Menzel's. A good ball to Hall, who's kicked 3 goals. Take his tally up to 41 for the season. Floats it inside 50. No mark there to Percy. And he gave a high contact free kick away. So Green line up for a third second half goal. 45 metres out. 45-degree angle. Sets it on its way and misses to the left. 2 goals, 2. 13-7 to 10-8. The only 2 scores of the quarter so far are behinds to Alexandra. We've gone about 7 minutes. Just retrieving the footy. And Meehan will be the recipient. Go up the middle. They managed to find a spare player despite that delay. Grimwade to Meehan, who just kept on running up the ground. Thumps it long. Stewart takes a strong mark. Long way up the ground, though. Not his best kick. Risk associated with that into the middle of the ground. Boots. Cardona in there for Pakenham. And the umpire's paid holding the ball. Not sure there was prior there. It's been a fairly consistently umpired one today. Now the ball's over at the boundary and no one seems thrilled by the prospect of going to get that. So Cardona will wander over. Would have thought that it would have served Alexandra to go and get the footy and try to get the game moving. Slightly risky kick across goal here. Comes down to the bounce. Stewart sweating on that. Just needed a bit of support. Brooks got the kick away and found Trembath, who goes down the wing. Nice kick to the leading target in Hago's. Had a good game. And that was an awful kick, however, out of bounds on the full. Free kick with Percy. Kellen Percy. Centres it to Sam Boots. Risky kick, but it'll eventually get through towards Aikman. Wobbly ball to centre half forward. Massey couldn't take the mark, but did enough to impact. Spence goes in low over it. The Pakenham have negotiated close to 10 minutes in this quarter. And whilst they haven't kicked one, they haven't conceded a score. So that 3-kick game is what it remains. Boots immediately tackled. Slapped forward. Grimwade. That one behind it comes out here towards Jones. Bouncing ball to Cardona. Nice kick. Keeps it alive. Trembath goes over the top. Shares it with Nicholas. Gets it back again. Sweeping hand pass towards Villano. We know he's got depth on his kicks. Front position. Good play there from Goyder. Well, it's one back. Spiral ball to the top of the square. Perkins. It's carried through for a goal. And it's that man again who kicked the last of the third and the first of the last in Hall, who's got 4, 42 on the season. And is that the one that breaks the resistance? 14-7-91 to 10-8-68. Hillsville's season will end in the Premier Division as Monbulk lead by 41 points in the last quarter there. 30 scoring shots to 9. Pakenham at the 11-minute mark of the last quarter lead by the best part of 4 goals here. Are they preliminary final bound? Parker. Alexandra kicked 2 goals in a minute in the third quarter. They need to do something similar here to keep them alive. They'll get a free kick for that. Tremendous tackle from Grimwade. Just to come back around on his line, which is unfortunate for his team because he hit Stewart on the lead. We'll try to do the same thing again. Stewart couldn't take the mark. That's over the boundary. Close to the boundary. Lucas couldn't keep it in play. Curvis down towards Massey. Flying shot at goal is close. Stays in play. Can they get one this time? Yes, they can. Edwards finally hits the mark. 1 goal 4 for him this afternoon. And they won't go away. 11-8-74 plays 14-7-91, about halfway through the last term. Still a chance. Back in the middle, Tato with a decisive tap. Ryan will eventually get onto the loose ball, turns back onto the right. And pass to Menzel, back to Ryan on a 1-2. Pokes the kick out towards our broadcast wing. They've got the numbers. They share it around okay. Ahern, who kicked a beauty in the first term. Lovely pass to Hall. What an influence he's had on the game. Probably too far out to score for a 5th, but you never know. Drives it long towards goal and was all Alexandra in the square. Can they get something happening here on the switch? Massey probably had 6 or 7 in the last quarter already. Goes towards Boots. And some tired legs there. That kick just missed the target. Goes over for a throw-in. And pass back towards the boundary line and goes over and out once more. And the umpire, sufficient intent. Second of those we've seen today. Parker. Helicopter kick forward, Watkins. Strong hands, but not strong enough. Looking at the umpire, suggesting something over the shoulder, but nothing doing. Can they turn one quickly into two? Draw themselves a little bit closer. The netball court side of the ground here at Warrialic. Comes through towards Cooper. To the middle of the ground, well flicked up, Boots. Rode the bump, got the kick away. Important ball to be won, and it's won by Pakenham in a one-on-one. Risky kick across goal. Floating there was Franco, and it goes out of play. He's done some really good things, closing down with speed. Another throw-in required. Hacked towards the boundary line off the boot, and we're going to see insufficient intent again, and probably fair enough. There was only one place that ball was ever going to go. Orjard sets it up. They get a mark in the square. Yes, that man again. Stewart. We're about 16 into the quarter. And he's going to get lined up on a very tight angle here. Should just be able to open it up and kick his seventh. 7 in a final. A rare contribution. And he's done just that. And it's an 11-point game. 12-8-80 to 14-7-91. We've probably got somewhere close to 10 minutes left in the game. Ball up in the middle. Another bounce. Couple of minutes short of time on. Holding free kick to Green there. Kicked 2 goals in about 3 minutes to start the second half and open up this advantage. Interesting one for the umpire to interpret there. Man in front. It's going to be an Alexandra free kick. Looked like he had a fair purchase on that, Hagar, but it's Meehan now. He goes down the line. It's a 1-on-3 in favour of Pakenham. Watkins did well to make the contest. They'll concede some ground with the hand pass. Lucas. Back to Meehan. Kick had to be precise. It was. Finds Nankervis. The big man goes for a bit of a gallop. Drives him to the edge of 50. Watkins couldn't take the mark. Closed down with a tackle. Brinwade and Prendergast. Nankervis just bullocking after it. Punches it about 20 metres forward. It comes out here towards Martini. Hooks the kick around on the left. And over the line for a throw-in. Certainly wouldn't expect an insufficient intent call on that. However, we'll throw it in again. Nankervis might have been held in the ruck. In fact, it's gone the other way, reaching over the top of Tato and advanced 25 metres. Time on in the quarter. Probably got maybe 6 or 7 minutes. We've had 3 goals kicked in the term, 2-1 in favour of Alexandra, so not a high-scoring term. Ryan sends the kick short. 40-point lead to Monbulk halfway through the last quarter of their elimination final against Healesville. Trembath feeds the hand pass up, was pushed in the back. We'll get the free kick. We'll take the 30 seconds. If he kicks the goal, they're clearly going to be very difficult to beat, but the time also a factor. So behind the kick, hits it from 50. It's got the carry and it's there. Clutch goal. Might be the one that sends Pakenham on their way to the preliminary final. 15-7, 97 to 12-8, 80. It's a 3-kick game again. It's sort of maintained that margin for most of the second half. Highly entertaining contest. A Pakenham about to set up another showdown with Warburton for a spot in the grand final. Is there anything left in the tank for Alexandra? And we'll have another bounce. Slapped forward Ryan. Left foot kick inside 50. Villano on a long lead. Almost copped the Falcon then. Jack caught in the tackle. Spiked out of there by Georgiades. Going to have to be super clean from here. Goiter hooks the kick around. Didn't go the required distance. Cardona brought to ground in a tackle. About 23 minutes has elapsed in the last term. Villano with strength. Straightens up. Didn't hit the target, but they might be able to end it here. Keisha has missed. 1 goal, 3 to Sam Keisha. 43 goals for the season. Georgiades marks, going to have to go. Feeds the hand pass in. They'll straighten up, go for a bit of a gallop, drive it down the middle of the ground. Stewart fires in the hand pass. Stanton cuts it off. Martini through the middle. Long left foot kick. Villano will wait underneath it. Doesn't take the mark, but bullocks his way to the front. Gets around onto the left. Neat kick to the pocket. Punched out of bounds there by Meehan. And it feels like Pakenham have done enough. Nankervis charges after it close to the boundary, and that's gone out in the full. So it does give Alexandra the ball. Driving ball down the middle of the ground. Watkins at the back, split it open. And they're happy to hold that up via Brooks. Can't be an enormous amount of time left, and it's still a 3-goal game. Kick partially smothered. Georgiades floats the kick. Down to centre half forward. Very strong mark taken down there by Kamanzuli. Chips it short. They'll work it over the top to our broadcast side. Hager. That's a free kick to Stanton. For a chop of the arms. Will take some time. Chips it short. And there's the order of the day. They'll take some time off the clock. Martini to half forward, goes bursting through the fingers there of Styles. Parker. That'll be an advanced free kick. Possibly a report by the looks of it. No, just a down the ground free kick. Oh, hand pass bounces away from Prendergast there. Milano towards Ryan. Milano goes back after it again. Toe poke back Ryan. Now Cardona. Left foot kick into the pocket, and they've got the mark on 50. Any score you'd think would be enough. Monbulk 13-18-96. Healesville 9-3-57. 39-point game. Similar time, you would think. "27 minutes here last quarter. High and long to the square. And through for a behind. Handy point. 19-point game. They'll drive it down towards the wing. Watkins is there. Take the mark. Tackled, tied in on the wing. Stepping through and driving the kick down towards half forward. Stewart will track after it. Can't keep it in play. Punched forward towards the pocket. Kept in play. Centering ball to the top of the square. Great attack on the ball. I'll launch it out of defence towards right. It will take the mark on the half-back flank. Settle it down. Concedes a bit of ground. Takes some time off the clock. Shares it with Ahern, who goes inboard. Hager takes the mark. Over the top to Trembath. And there's the siren. Pakenham progress to the last three, and the big three will be the big three in season 2025. Warburton, Pakenham and Seville have been the pace setters and the benchmark, winning 13 games each, and they are the final three. It'll be Warburton versus Pakenham in a preliminary final to determine who plays Seville in the grand final. Alexandra have got better and better as the season's gone on. A gallant finals performance, came from 6 goals down to win last week. Hung in there all the way through today. But it's 15-9-99 to 12-8-80 for Pakenham. 4 goals to Hall, including some gems. 2 to Green, 2 to Villano. Singles to Stanton, Ahern, Cassia, Trembath, Hager, Perkins and Nicholas. Alexandra. Stewart was outstanding with 7. 2 to Watkin. Singles to Edwards, Grinwade and Orjard. 15-9-99 to 12-8-80. 19-point victory to Pakenham. Big thank you to our major game day sponsors, Healesville Greyhounds, the local footy hub, Petters Suspension and Brakes, architectural cladding suppliers, and of course Game Face Vision, BMK Commercial Carpentry and Plastering, and Ready Recovery. Play hard, recover harder. Signing off from Warrialic, where Pakenham win their way through to the second last game of the season, and they'll be hoping a little bit beyond that. I'm Darren Parkin, and we'll catch you again next Saturday.